see if I can get this pulled up. Docs, chat. There's the chat. There we go. Members only mode is off. Okay, cool. We should be live. So, howdy. How's it going? Today, we're going to be doing some controller mods. I know it's been quite a while since I've gone live, but I want to try some things out, see if I can get this dialed in, because to get some of these mods done, because then I would have the VOD for you guys to reference to cut out any of the dead air time, or if there's ever any moments where I have to research or if I have to get a different tool, I like to cut all that up, the entire process. So that's for you guys if you want to watch. We're going to be doing this from start to finish. So howdy, hope you guys are doing well. I know it's a little late, I can't really sleep, so I figured why not work on this. So what we have here is we have two PS5 controllers. This one I've already done just a little bit of a light cut, but we're going to be doing a lot more today. Today, right now, in this box, we have a full transparent housing kit from Extreme Rate. So we're going to be doing the full transparent kit, but it gets even better than that. So we've got the button, you order one of these kits, so you don't have to go searching around for stuff. You'll have literally everything that you will need. So all the little parts, every little thing is in the box, okay? So we'll set this. The next mod that we're going to be doing, I believe this is the Clicky. Nope, this is the back plate. This is a little grippy back plate. They've even got some with the back paddles. I don't know if we're going to use that, so we're going to set this to the right. So if I end up using it, oh no. What? I got an error. What's the error? I need to change the resolution. Okay, so let me change the output to 1440. So output streaming. So maybe I could just lower the bit rate. Let me check. What's up, Boosty? How's it going, man? How's it going? How does stream look? Am I getting any weird lag? Oh, it's buffering? Okay, 1 second. Let me fix that, okay? 1 second. I'm gonna fix that real fast. Thanks for letting me know. Bit rate. All right, so how is that? Is that any better? Let me check my own stream, actually. I'm going to pull my own stream up. I should have checked this before, but I've changed around a lot of stuff. Helped you a lot with the Ally X. Thank you. Thank you, man. I really appreciate that, and I'm glad I was able to help you out with your Ally stuff. I really enjoy helping people out, so that's something I like doing. Let me check this stream real quick. Okay, so looks like the stream is better now. We're gonna just roll with it. I've got variable bit rate set, so hopefully it looks okay on your end. If you see that it starts doing anything wonky again, just let me know. So yeah, thank you for telling me that we were buffering, because I honestly was not looking at that. Okay, so now we've got this set aside. We're gonna be doing the clear transparent housing. Now this is where the good stuff is right here. So, oh no, bamboozled again. This is just the little plate that I changed. Okay, maybe this is where the good stuff is. Yes, this is where the good stuff is. Okay, so right here we have the new Hall Effect kit. And what this is going to let you do is install Hall Effect joysticks and have a way to calibrate them. Because for some reason, if you were to swap these out, because they're soldered on, there's programming that happens on the board itself and not just in software. So if you were to swap these out, you might run into some issues. So they've got this solder on kit that will actually allow you to calibrate it board side and it has programming options built into here. So there's a specific sequence that you do once it's all installed, and that will allow you to calibrate it on the fly when you want it to. Now, oddly enough, there was some other mods and I'm missing them, so let me look around my office because I have a Clicky ABXY button kit that is absolutely missing. I just had it. I'm so bummed. Where did it go? Oh my gosh. Okay. Clicky ABXY button kit. Where did it go? I am going to be so frustrated if I can't locate this extremely fast. Because I don't want to keep you guys waiting. Oh, I found it. All right, so here we go. Here we go. I found it. Sorry. Hope you guys are not rushing off. So here we go. This right here is the Clicky ABXY kit, and I can't wait to put this on. I was supposed to have the trigger kit as well by now, but I think the trigger kit might have gotten delayed in shipping. That was what I really wanted to do. I haven't seen it, but yeah, this right here is going to give you the Clicky ABXY buttons. So if you look at a lot of other like aftermarket controllers, you can get Clicky ABXY buttons, and they basically are much faster to press, and it just feels really, really good. So I wanted to achieve that, and this will allow you to do that. So a lot of you guys know I've been a huge Xbox style controller user for many years, and they've done really well for me. But for some reason with my hands lately, they have actually grown to really love the PS5 thumbstick design and layout, and I'm actually having a lot more fun using a PS5 controller. So I want to make this the best PS5 controller that I possibly can. And the biggest complaints for me is definitely the buttons and the triggers. I think the triggers are probably the #1 complaint for me. And I really, really wanted some shorter hair triggers. So like these have a pretty long throw and you can adjust them. But something like this, you can adjust. And then same with like the Xbox Elite Series controllers and a lot of the other aftermarket ones, you can adjust that throw. Now, I do know that there are some aftermarket PS5 controllers out there that will allow you to get those rapid fire triggers, but I don't really have that kind of money to spend on a controller right now. So this is the solution. It's DIY friendly. You'll be able to upgrade the controller that you already have and get some more enjoyment out of it without having to buy a completely new controller. So let's go ahead and put some of these boxes aside. I'm really bummed I don't have the trigger kit just yet because that's the one mod I wanted to do first, but let's at least get this one under our belt and we'll swap that housing and we'll see how it feels after that. And I guess this will be a 2-part series. It'll be a little bit of an incremental upgrade. So first of all, like I said, you've got the tools in here. You don't have to buy a separate screwdriver kit, but I usually use my electric screwdriver. That's just what I prefer. Now, if you've never taken apart a PS5 controller apart, you come down here on these bottom parts, get your fingernail in there, you just pull it upwards, and then you can work your thumb in there and just pop it upwards. Just like that. And then be careful because these two pieces right here tuck underneath the controller. So it fits in there kind of weird, but it just tucks under there. It's very, very odd. So be careful when you're taking these apart not to break these little tabs up here at the left and the right. So we'll go ahead and set that aside. And then you've got the two top right buttons. You'll want to pop each one of these out, so you can basically just reach in there and pop it out, or you can use the pry tool. I can just reach in there and pop it out like that. Drop my trigger here. So now that you've gotten that out, you'll have 2 screws up here at the top, which I've already removed and lost. So thankfully they give you spare screws in these kits for people like me who have a habit of losing screws. So we'll at least have that. But then you've got these 2 screws down here at the bottom. And so these 2 screws you'll want to remove, and then these 2 screws you'll want to remove also. So, hope everyone's doing well. Guess it's kind of a slow night tonight. A little bit of a impromptu stream, I know, but you know. So we are getting a lot of lag, actually. All right, let me do something. Video. Can't change it. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna end the stream and then I'm gonna come right back. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna come right back to the same link, so just hang tight. Okay, so let's see if that's going to fix it. Full screen window projector. Okay, so let's see if that fixes it. I'm gonna mute my mic real quick. I'm gonna pull up my own stream again. Pull up my own stream again. Pull up my own stream again. Pull up my own stream. All right, we're good. We're back. We're back. Okay, so hopefully that's better for you guys. Sorry about the scuff. It's been a while since I streamed, I know, but let's go ahead and and get started again. All right, so we've pretended we already got these out. You guys know I lost the screws. We got a bag full of them here. So let's go ahead and get these screws right here out. Remember to set them aside where you won't lose them. I'm bad about losing screws with controllers for some reason. It's literally the only device I've ever lost screws for. I have no idea why I lose screws for controllers. It's pretty wild. Alright, so once that's done, you can come over here and you've got a little clip here at this point, and then one right here. Kind of pop it and then slowly work it open like that. I believe I got all the screws out of it. Yeah, I did. Just double check. Never can be too careful with these things. There we go. And that just pops off like that. And you'll also notice that there's no battery in here, but there is a specific reason for that, which I have the battery around here somewhere. Of course, I lost that too, but I have removed the battery out of it. Oh well. So I removed the battery out of this one for weight savings, and also for the fact that I use this one on wired mode anyways, so I don't want to accidentally hit the power button and turn my PlayStation on in the other room. So this one is basically just straight up PC only. That's all I use this one for. So keep that in mind, why I don't have the battery in there, because I know some people are going to be like, oh my god, he's missing a battery. And yes, I am missing a battery. There's no battery in it. Okay, so the next part is where things get a little tricky, but not really. If you're used to removing ribbon cables, there's nothing new here. So first thing you're going to want to do is remove the battery tray. That's pretty easy. It's pretty straightforward. take the battery tray, wiggle it, make sure it's loose. You've got this little part here. You want to wiggle that out, move that aside, and then there's a ribbon cable. You could just pinch, wiggle, and pull it out. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Okay, so over here you've got 2 more ribbon cables. Pull the tab, wiggle. Now you can get your battery tray out of the way. Got another ribbon cable here. Pull and wiggle. Okay. You've got 1 more down here at the bottom. Pull and wiggle. Yes, Boosty, it is. It's very similar to the PS5 Edge controller. Those are pretty expensive. I don't have one, but I had looked into getting one, and I think I'll wait, but I want one of those. I know they're pretty sweet. And there's a lot of mods that Extreme Rate has specifically for those controllers, so you want to make sure that you look up the model controller that you have. For example, I'm glad you bring that up, because right here you see where it says BDM-010. That is the model number of this particular PS5 controller. There's actually many different revisions of the regular PS5 controller, so you want to make sure that you look at this first before you start buying certain parts, because there's certain button kits and trigger kits that are only compatible with certain versions. So make sure that you do double check that. That's something that I'm glad you bring up, because I myself forgot to mention that, but I digress. Let's go ahead and start removing everything else. So I'm going to go ahead and remove, let's see, what should I remove next? I guess everything, really. So let's go ahead and remove the rumble motors. Now, I've also unsoldered these previously, because that's another thing that I don't use. I don't use rumble because it does affect your accuracy. So I unsoldered those, which we'll end up resoldering them when we're finished, but they were just soldered in right here and right there. I just don't use rumble motors. So some people like it, some people don't. I don't even use the adaptive triggers. So I am just a raw controller user. I'm trying to work this out of here. Sometimes these boards can be a little stubborn. There we go. I need to move my mic. 1 second. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. I really just like the controller itself. I don't need the rumble. I don't need a lot of the random stuff. But yeah, that's what I was missing over here. Okay, so there we go. Pulled that out. That tab was kind of tricky to remove. Don't forget that. So now we can pull the board all the way out. And this is the board right here. So if you're going to change out your thumbsticks, you're going to basically just pull those off like that. These are on there really good. I'm not going to pull these off, but you'll pull them off like that. These from Extreme Rate are the best out there because they fit so snug. A lot of the cheap aftermarket ones that I've tried have a lot of play on the shaft itself, and as you're moving forward or running forward, back and forth a lot, you'll work this thing up and down a lot, and you'll feel the click. It's probably the most annoying thing you'll ever experience, especially if you're like me and you just really are sensitive to like slop in a controller. That's something that can throw off your accuracy quite a bit. So that's something that I really like about theirs, is it's just built a lot better. It's the tolerances. That's all it is, just the better tolerances. What's up, all Kina Ting? How's it going, man? Holding it down over here, man. How about you? All right, so now that we have the main board out, looks like the next set of screws we're going to need to undo are up here at the top left and right. So let's go ahead and get those out. All right, I'm gonna set those over here. And we should be able, yes, we should be able to work this straight out like that. And this is the whole assembly that has the motors for the rumble, the ABXY button, membrane, and then you've got your triggers all in this one little housing here. Now, in the next few days, when the trigger kit arrives, we're going to disassemble it back to this state, except we're going to take the trigger assemblies out and we're going to modify them, and we will have hair triggers. So stay tuned for that. That will be in the next video or live, hopefully. So you've got this membrane right here, and this is what's going to need to come off. Two little black pegs are holding the membrane in place. Sorry for the autofocus. There we go. But you just pull it up like that, and then flip it back over. I'm gonna pull this out, and I'm pretty sure, let me go back to this. Pretty sure it comes out. I don't think it overlays. I think it replaces the whole thing. Let me just double check. Yeah, it replaces the whole thing. It's not just an overlay. Yeah. So you're going to keep removing this. Sometimes these are overlays, but this one definitely is not. It replaces the whole thing. So that's pretty cool. Just be careful not to rip it, just in case you want to reuse it one day, or you want to put it back to stock and sell the controller. Alright, so there's our stock membrane. So we're going to set this somewhere where we won't lose it. And you're going to also replace the membranes for the controller itself. So I don't know why they're giving you 4 of these, but maybe there's a reason. But let me double check and see if there's anything different about them. One's going to be for the D-pad for sure, and then one's going to be for the ABXY buttons. So I think one might be taller. Let's measure. One might be taller. Let's see. It's like when it bottoms out, it's like a 4.3, I guess. It feels about the same. Yeah, I don't think it's any different. I think the extra is just in case you lose one or something. So I guess we'll find out, huh? We'll find out. We'll definitely find out. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and swap the membrane out. Look to see if there's any reference marks. Not really. Looks about the same here. Okay. Fits in there really good, actually. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Perfect fit. So it goes right back in. Now this is going to come off like that. Oh. I see. So this membrane is a little different, but I think it's meant to go in here a lot deeper than the... Uh-oh. Dropped a button here. I think it's meant to go in there a lot deeper than the original and probably give you a little bit better feeling. That's what she said. So let's go in here and yeah, that actually is going to feel pretty good. So set that there. And I'm not going to change the housing yet. I want to do that tomorrow. We're going to do a little bit of a incremental upgrade each day, I guess, since I have not received the other kit that I would like to use first. So, all right. That goes in there like that. Goes in here like that. Just work it around. All right, this is a little snug up here. I don't know if you can see that or not. That makes me a little nervous because I don't want to tear it. Alright, it fits in there, but boy is it snug. It is extremely snug, so I just don't want to rip it, because you can rip these membranes if you're not careful, so we'll just pray. That we're not going to rip anything. There we go. You have to go around all these little lips inside. Make sure it's snugly fitting down. Yeah, I think I got it. I think we got it. I think I'm going to do this to my PS5 Edge controller, maybe get the TMR sticks. Yeah, man, let me know if it works for you, man. This is actually a really interesting mod for me because I've done joysticks before, tons of them, but I've never actually done any that had a programmable board with them. It's a pretty advanced mod, not gonna lie. I am nervous about doing it because I do need to have like a lot of patience with it. I'm gonna have to take my time and just make sure that I don't rip any pads, and I'm gonna have to go very careful because there are a lot of very small contacts you have to solder. But if you've soldered before, it's pretty easy, but the video tutorial is like an hour long, but I know they're taking their time making a tutorial, but just kind of like keep that in mind, that when you do that mod, that you need to set aside enough time to just be as careful as you can. Oh god, those feel good. Oh man, these are gonna feel insane. Oh, I'm so bummed I don't have the freaking trigger kit yet. That's such a shame. You know what? Let's actually... I was gonna say let's swap the housing out, but nah. Let's save that for tomorrow. I want to go ahead and just get this on here now and try it out. I was gonna say let's swap out the housing. What's up, Killer K? What's up, brother? How's it going, man? We're doing some controller mods on this PS5 controller right here. We are doing the Clicky ABXY button kit. And then tomorrow, or the next day, whenever the kit arrives, we're going to do the hair trigger kit, and then we're going to do the Hall effect kit. So, pretty awesome upgrades for this thing. Alright, fitting that down in there is a breeze. I'm just double checking all our cables. We're going to pull the ribbon cable, latch it through these little holes. Main thing, you want to make sure that you don't tear it and that you are being really patient. There we go. Perfect. So we'll put our two screws back. Just set that screw into place. There we go. Picking up the magnet. Look at the PS5 Edge controllers or sticks are swappable modules. Oh, that's good to know. So Yeah, that's actually pretty awesome, then. If you can just swap the modules out like that. Yeah, I need to brush up on the new Edge controllers because they've been so just not on my radar that I haven't watched any real content on those controllers. I had been obsessed with every other kind of controller out there previously. I'm just now getting around to really starting to love the PS5 controller. So I'm trying to fit this set of cables in there and tuck them in place. Keep them out of the way. Now they are. Alright, so now when you're putting it back together, you're going to keep this cable out of the way. You're going to keep these cables out of the way. You're going to slide it back in there. Grab that cable here. Gently move it out of the way. Squeeze that back down. Come over here and replace the ribbon cable. Pricey. Got like an Amazon. Nice. What was it on Amazon, if you don't mind me asking? What do they go for now? Because I remember when they first came out, weren't people scalping them anyways? Like, weren't like third-party Amazon sellers like doubling the price on those things? It was pretty wild. Just gonna reconnect all these other cables. This one's always a pain, but it goes right back in if you're careful. Take this one. Wiggle that back down. Take that one. Wiggle it back down. That one did not seat. There we go. Now it's seated properly. We've got that one that goes on next. This battery tray right there. I think that's the screw for the battery tray. Okay. And it's one of the microphones, if I'm not mistaken. I don't need that. I'm going to just put that on the box. I don't use the mics. I don't use any of that crap. So, just to get an idea of what that's going to look like anyways. Oh yeah, that's going to look so good. It's going to look so good. I'm going to put this on here just to see. Just get an idea. There we go. Snapped in place. Look at that. Perfect. So now we're going to put all the screws back on, and since we have extras, I don't have to worry about anything. And don't tighten these too much when you're putting controllers or handhelds back together. You can always strip them, or you can break the plastic. I've got a really good idea of when they're fully tight, and I back off immediately. Look at that. Spare screws for the win. Absolutely legendary when people give you spare screws. Alright, so we can put this back on, and remember, when this goes in, you feed it through the top, give it a little wiggle and a little push, and then it'll click on all these sides. It'll click down at the bottom, click down right there. There you go. Had to clear emerald green. Oh, nice. Yeah, man. This was a pretty fire color. Wanted to get this. We're going to do the front tomorrow, and we'll have metallic-y, shimmery color on the front. Let's see which direction. I think this is this one. Which one was this? There we go. Okay. Here we go. Putting all this back is so easy. All right. Wow, that's definitely an improvement. These were the membrane buttons, and these are the clicky buttons. So if you like the clicky sound versus the membrane, clicky, it's going to be faster, more responsive. You're going to be able to make follow-up shots. You're going to be able to make a lot of movements quicker. There's also less travel on these as well. These are definitely smoother. They're more quiet, but they're a lot, I would say, easier to press, but in a bad way. I don't know if that was letting you hear it on camera or not. Let me try something. I can take something off my mic, actually, and you might be able to hear it better. Hold on. Let's see if this will work. So let me mute the music, and then undo this. Here we go. Maybe you can hear it now. Versus this. So for fighting games, it's going to be really, really good. I can tell you that. Fighting games with clicky ABXY and clicky D-pad is like the best ever. If you've not experienced it before, it's a must. Like, it's an absolute must, because this was previously my favorite controller, the Bytong KP40. This basically gives you everything clicky. But the problem with this controller, and the only problem with it, is sometimes the joysticks themselves kind of have a little bit of a pop to them, and that's only because the caps are removable. I'm pretty aggressive with how I play, and I will get a lot of popping back and forth and a lot of movement on one of these. I can't remember which one it was, but it was enough to make me eventually just not want to use it as much. I still use it, don't get me wrong, but that little bit of movement would never bother most people, like, ever. Most people would never even notice it, but for me, I notice it immediately, and it breaks my immersion in the games. And so when I play with this controller, there's zero slop at all on the shaft, and I enjoy playing this for longer periods of time now, and my thumbs are in a more natural placement, so I don't feel like I'm having to stretch them or cramp them. I'm feeling like my hands are just more happy after 4 or 5 hours. I don't really play for 4 or 5 hours, but every now and then, but I did over the weekend, and yeah, I played for like 4 hours straight, and it was the first time in a long time where I didn't have just unbearable thumb cramps. Like, my thumbs just get so cramped. Okay, so the clicky kit, huge W, absolutely very happy. Now let's hook it up and test it on the controller gamepad tester, and I'll throw it up on screen Let me get it pulled up real fast. Hold on. Okay. Does it not recognize the controller? No. Maybe it needs the battery. Let me see. Yeah, it's plugged in the right port. Let me double check this controller. Okay, so this one works. Why is this one not working? Interesting. So, control layout, Xbox style, just fit my hands better. Yeah, this one's starting to fit my hands a lot better. Okay, so we're gonna have to take it back apart. I fucked something up here. No worries. That's good OLED monitor brand. I'm thinking about getting one with Microsoft reimbursement resets next month. Honestly, Killer K, it depends on a lot of factors. I'm really picky with monitors. What size are you looking for? And what are you going to be playing it on is the question. And then thirdly, price. Price, they're all going to be kind of high. But most importantly, what system are you going to use it for? What resolution are you going to play it for? Like 1440 or 4K, like Boosty said. And what size do you want too? Because if you want, for example, 43-inch or 42-inch, that's what I'm looking for. Like I want a 43-inch or 42-inch 4K 240 hertz. And I definitely want OLED. So I'm looking at, there's an Asus one that they have, there's a Strix, and there's also, I believe, an LG. Let me pull that up real quick. Let's see. I don't have the model numbers memorized, but here we go. Okay, so there's, okay, of course the Best Buy website's not working great right now. Let's go to Amazon then. 4K, 240 hertz. So you can get a 32-inch all day. 27-inch, 1440, 144 hertz, 240 hertz. Okay. Yeah, so here's the thing for me. If I'm going to be buying an OLED, 1440 is pretty good, but I feel like I'm tripping at the finish line almost. I feel like I could just save up and spend slightly more and get 4K 240 hertz. Because like right now, for example, a 4K 240 hertz Alienware is only like $8.99, but that's still, you know, it's decent. I've seen better. I've actually seen some for like $1,000, for example. Like here's a 4K LG 32-inch OLED. Let me see if I can put this up on screen real fast. Hold on. Share screen, window capture. Amazon, there we go. Fit to screen. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this 32-inch right here, it's 4K 240 hertz, $1,100 for a 32-inch. That's not too bad. I mean, I would be aiming around like $1,000 ideally. 32-inch, $849. I'm not a fan of Acer monitors. I've actually had several Acer monitors fail within like a year. I don't have good luck with them. I'm not saying they're a bad brand. I just don't have good luck with Acer monitors. Asus is great. The dual mode, I've never experienced the dual mode. I haven't had any of the monitors that run the dual mode. I've always ran just whatever the native resolution is. I know that dual mode will give you the more optimal refresh rates on either one, so it's a nice feature to have if you plan on switching back and forth, because I know with some 4K you can't do 1440 optimally. If you can, it doesn't always look great, and it might not always have the best refresh rate options at that lower resolution. So it's something to kind of like think about, is if you are going to be doing 4K and 1440, keep that in mind. If you want a dual mode, it's going to help you out in that way for sure. Yeah, man, yelling at stocks, that is, I'm telling you, man, Acer, if you ask anyone who's had any of their monitors, they've had issues. They make a lot of great products, but for some reason, I have no idea why they don't have a good track record. So here we go. This MSI was one that I was looking at. 4K, 928 bucks, and is 240 hertz. It's got HDR. It's got pretty much everything that you're going to want in a monitor for under $1,000. That would be what I would probably pick, as something like this, because you're getting a perfect size. You're getting the right resolution. You're getting the right refresh rate. You're basically checking all the boxes here for under $1,000. That would be probably what I would go for. Now, the 43-inch though, let me see if I can find that 43-inch. 1 second. Might have been a 42-inch OLED. 240 hertz. All right, so we've got this one, which is a interesting option for the price. 765 bucks. I've never heard of the KTC brand. I don't know, but I know a lot of these, you know, not very well heard of brand monitors often use brand name panels. A lot of the times they just manufacture their own PCBs and housings for them. Sometimes they even recycle other housings. So generally, you're not going to be like, you know, missing out on a ton by going with some of these lower, lesser known brands or whatever. You might miss out on something like this. Refresh rate, 138 hertz at 4K, still more than enough for most people. It's basically probably not going to be able to run those higher refresh rates because it's not like a well-bent panel or whatever. So the Asus, yeah, that one is actually a really good one. The PG, yeah, I've seen that one right here. Now this was another one that's a good option, but this is only Quad HD. It's not 4K, but at that price for that size, it's not bad. I think the one that I'm looking for is actually sold out because it normally pops right up. It was an Asus, and then there was, let's see, nope, that's not it. Yeah, it's not popping up. But here's another one, but that's way too much money. I've heard this brand before, the INOCN, Inokin. This one is actually a pretty well-known brand by now. I've known quite a few people to run this brand, but it's still only 1440p QHD. It's not really what I would want for me personally. Now, if you are looking for 1440, it's pretty good. But yeah, I want 4K. Yeah, 2,000 bucks. God, it's just so expensive. That's so expensive. All right, so let's go back and see what we did wrong. Let's take this back apart. Hopefully I just left a ribbon cable undone. Pretty sure it's just a ribbon cable. Maybe it's the battery, since it's been disconnected for so long. Maybe I actually need to put the battery back in before it'll cut back on. Yeah, my brain also is not fully functioning right now. It is 4 o'clock in the morning. I should be asleep, but had a headache and I wasn't really tired, and I was like, I want to work on something to make myself tired. I didn't feel like gaming because my eyes couldn't focus. My vision gets blurry sometimes, and I just did not want to game. So I was like, let me do something with my time other than just watch car videos. That's what I do at night when I'm trying to go to bed. I'll just watch car videos or tech videos, and yeah, you just go down the rabbit hole. You'll just watch like hours and hours of videos, things that YouTube serves you up that you never would have found otherwise. Yeah, man, Killer K, I played the heck out of Black Ops this week, and I had been like, you know, kind of like falling out of love with Black Ops for the past couple of months. I've just been really frustrated with the whole franchise. Ah, I see what's going on here. That's not good. That's not good at all. We have a ribbon cable that has gotten itself in trouble here. I'm gonna have to do some gentle persuasion and hope. There we go. I hope we didn't rip it. That ribbon cable right there was catching on the controller itself. Hopefully we didn't rip it. I think it's good. I don't think there's any issues with it. So I put that back in place. Let me hook this mic back up. Maybe it's the mic. I highly doubt it. That would be kind of creepy if they have to have the mic in order for the dang thing just to power on, be recognized. So we got our ribbon cable in there. That's good. Let me grab the battery just in case. I don't know what I did with it. 1 second. There it is. It was on the desk the entire time. Been playing Black Ops more lately too. Yeah, man, have you seen the Beavis and Butthead skin that they're gonna be adding like any day now? I low-key don't really buy skins or battle pass or anything like that generally, but I'll probably buy the Beavis and Butthead skin as long as it's not like, you know, 20 bucks or something. If it's like, you know, a couple dollars or something, I'll probably buy it. Because I know I've got some points and stuff I could probably use. If it's like an 1100 point skin, that would be pretty obtainable. Okay, so I'm gonna put the stock backplate in. I'm just going through and double checking all of our little connectors here. I don't see that I left anything else. Nice, yeah, man, it plays so solid on the Ally X. I've actually been playing it mostly on the Flow Z13. This is my baby right here. Like, you couldn't convince me of something else better than this, but I may have been convinced to give something else a shot in the very near future, and who knows, I might just be more in love with it once it gets here, and I'll try it out and let you guys know my honest truth about it, because I like to try tons of new devices. All right, fit back in here. Now, I'm definitely not putting the screws on this time because I learned the hard way. It's just like putting the side panel on the computer before you've turned it on. When you build a new rig, never put the side panel on before you're 100% certain that it's going to power up. Okay, we have liftoff. Okay, so I know it's going to work now because when I hooked it up, it actually switched over to the, yep, there we go. switched over the audio source. So let me minimize that. All right. So let me know if you guys can see it. So here we go. Oh, yes. All the buttons work. Nice. Okay. Yeah, that feels so much better. I can rapid fire a lot faster. Switch to this one. Yeah, I mean, the one thing is if you're going to go for a controller that's quiet, you know, you really probably don't care about how fast the buttons are going to press, but for me, I can rapid fire the heck out of those. It's a pleasing sound, in my opinion. Some people like clicky buttons, some people like silent buttons. I'll probably leave this one stock. The other one anyways, I'll probably leave the other one stock so I can have it for playing in the bedroom and not waking the wife up. And then I'll have this one for in here when I'm gaming on the desktop. Just, yeah. That noise to me sounds good. You know, like clicky keyboards, right? You know, real true enthusiast loves a good clicky keyboard. But then there's some people who just want a silent keyboard. I'm not that guy. I like the clicky sounds. I like to feel the keys. I like that textile, tactical feeling. And to me, that just feels right. That feels like the way it really should be. So I guess tomorrow we'll put all the housings and all that stuff. A couple of days ago, tried to fix 2 Xbox controllers in the Microsoft data center last week with the Terminal Stage 5 stick drift. Oh my god. Man, tell the guys at Microsoft they have got to go to TMR Hall Effect, because that is the main thing that killed it for me. I have had so many Elite Series controllers. I've had maybe 10 Elite Series. Between me and my wife, we've had 10 for sure. Send them off to get RMA'd. They get repaired. Within a few weeks to a few months, they would always have stick drift again. And I have seen countless other people have stick drift on them. It's not just, you know, a skill issue. It just happens. They all happen. They already ordered a new controller coming next month. Nice. But that's been the problem for me, is that they don't offer Hall Effect. And if it had Hall Effect, or at least they could get rid of the stick drift issue, I would have been perfectly fine with the Elite Series. I really liked the adjustable triggers. I really liked the adjustable joysticks. I liked everything about it. The grips, everything, except the joysticks. And one other thing I will say about the Xbox Elite Series is there is a good bit of latency if you're going to be using it on Bluetooth, which I always suggest just don't do Bluetooth at all. If you're going to use a controller on PC, either use the wired mode or find one like this that has a wireless dongle, because the dongle is going to give you the same amount of latency because it's on a totally different frequency than Bluetooth. It's faster, can transmit data quicker. Bluetooth is just, there's a lot of latency. It's between 20 and 30 milliseconds on Bluetooth latency. So even if you're using a PS5 controller on a PC, you're going to have a good bit of latency if you're using a PS5 controller wirelessly. So that's why I always recommend plug it in wired. You'll have a ton better experience. You'll have better kill death ratio. You'll be able to drop shots faster. Those milliseconds actually matter. So the faster you can get that shot off, the better it is. So I'm gonna tell my senior tech about them. Hall effects. What? Yeah, yeah, man. So controllers are very much a personal preference for most people as far as how they use it, but overall, I mean, if you want the best experience possible and you're playing first-person shooters, avoid Bluetooth and avoid controllers that don't have Hall effect. Just my personal preference. Some people are completely fine with the Elite series and it does what they need it to do, but for me, I just can't. I can't get down with it. All right, so we have everything plugged back up. I didn't put the screws in. Don't really need to. Yep, still working. Still working. Rexian, learning new things. Glad I'm watching. Heck yeah, I'm glad you're here, Rexian. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. Okay, so controller mod done for this one. We've got the Clicky, ABXY, and D-pad. And so tomorrow we'll do the rest of the mods. I really hope that one comes in. I really hope that trigger kit comes in. Unfortunately, my RG Allen didn't work right on the first ones. Didn't have time to troubleshoot it. Yeah, the Ally X sticks are really one of the best things that I have done as far as like upgrades go. Like that one was one of like the easiest ones, but if you put them in and you have any issues at all, definitely, you know, let me know. I'm happy to help you troubleshoot them. I've seen maybe like 1 out of 100 actually need to be just swapped out because maybe a little bit of a tolerance issue or something, but I'd say like 99% of all the installations I've seen done in the Discord and people doing them on Reddit and calibrating them, they've all been fine. And then any of the ones that did have issues, it was just simply going back and doing it again. Maybe there was a skipped step, or maybe there was one little thing that needed to be recalibrated, but generally 9 times out of 10, they were great. There was no issues at all. That was one of the things that I worked strongly with, is making sure that the product, when it came to market, was going to be just as good as the product that I had on my desk. And I still have my pre-production models that I was beta testing. I still have several other early samples, and I still run those through their paces, and I still have multiple different sets for various reasons, but I love those sticks. I like them a lot better than the OG Hall effect sticks. The Hall effect sticks on the OG Ally, as you guys know, I was pretty vocal about those for the most part. I do believe they've improved them since they launched, but when they launched, they had a little bit of interference when you would be pushing up or down or left or right and using the trigger at the same time. So I'll give you an example. You're running forward all the way, and then you want to pull up the scope and drop shot somebody. You're basically going to reduce the direction by pulling the trigger at the same time, because the Hall effect sensor for the trigger and the controller joystick were too close together and they interfered with each other. On the Ally X, that doesn't happen. They're far enough apart to where they don't even get close to interfering with each other. So that was one of the main things that a lot of people were like, oh, I want to make sure that I don't have that happen. And I made sure that we didn't have that issue at all. I thoroughly tested the heck out of that. But Hall effect triggers and Hall effect joysticks are pretty common nowadays, and I think most manufacturers are aware that people are going to do that upgrade anyways. I know Asus was really, you know, hip to that knowledge, and they wanted to make sure that it was compatible. And so when they brought the Ally X to market, that was one of the advertising things, is like, hey, they will be compatible with Hall effect kits, so if you end up upgrading to Hall effect kit, it's compatible. So I kind of wish they would have given us Hall effect sticks, but in a way I understand why they didn't. And I think it's cool that, you know, you could put them in there and not have to worry about the interference or issues. Ally X D-pad mod from Etsy. ABX, what buttons are coming soon? Hope it's not too much to mod. Yeah, man. Speaking of that, actually, let me run mod. Let's get my ally right here. Well, there's actually a buddy of mine's. I'm trying to find my ally X, but I don't know where I put it. Oh man, maybe it's in the bedroom. I think it might be. Yeah, I think my ally X is in the bedroom. But yeah, doing the D-pad model on these is actually not. Oh, thumb. Doing the D-pad model on these is actually not too bad. Just be very careful when you're putting it all back together. Map out exactly where each one of the screws came out at, because if you're putting it back together too fast, and especially even like the backplate screws, if you mix these up or you tighten one too much and you go too deep, you bust through something, you know, it's risky. It's definitely something that I can do over and over again. But if you've never taken apart a small handheld before, I would recommend practicing, you know, tinkering around with it, getting comfortable with it, getting familiar with it. And it's not bad. It's pretty easy. So yeah, just about the purple face buttons. She's currently making them. Yeah, so Boosty, that's something that like that seller. So that seller was kind of like, they're from France, so they have a good one, man. See you later, Killer K. That seller is a good seller, but they're in France, so they use an English translation app. So what we say in English to them that makes sense to us might come across completely different to them. So sometimes I had to be overly clear with what I was trying to get, and I had to get other people to do it as well. And they were able to kind of like negotiate that. So what I know worked for me and others is they had to place an order, but in the order notes, say I want black with purple or purple with black. Just put the two colors you want and let them figure it out, essentially. And if they don't have those colors, then they'll email you or message you back and say, hey, I don't have any more purple or black. I can't do a custom order right now. And they'll refund you. But if you ask up front before you order, I've seen them actually tell people they can't do it. But meanwhile, they go and order it and the order comes through. I don't know. I don't know if they're misunderstanding when people are asking them ahead of time what they want, and because they don't have it listed physically on their site or on their page, that they don't have it anymore. I think that's where the communication breakdown is because I asked for the purple buttons many times and they told me no, they don't have them. And I was like scratching my head thinking to myself, okay, I'm looking at their buttons for other handhelds, right? If you look at their website, they've got buttons for tons of different handhelds and tons of different colors. And immediately I was like, okay, well, I know they have these colors because they're custom making them from scratch. They have the colors in stock. So someone on another group said they had the same issue for a different device, and they just placed the order. They put in a custom like order in the description or in the custom order ticket page, and then it came back and it was like, wow, why was this so difficult? I have no idea. Yeah, I mean, maybe I told them who I was, and I mean, they hooked me up with extra stuff because of that, but it was more or less like the custom order thing still probably would have went through either way because I put it in the custom order section. And I know it's not something that they do, but it's something that they have done. It's not something they publicly offer, but it's something that they can do. It's just probably on a case-by-case basis, and maybe like what they have in stock color-wise. Like if they have blue in stock or red in stock or whatever it is. And then also, hey, maybe they are done with making custom buttons on that platform. Maybe it's a lot of work and maybe they've kind of like stopped. Yeah. Yeah, thank you, man, for mentioning me. I know when I did that video, the amount of people that messaged me and were like, yo, you know, like I want these purple buttons and I can't get them. And then I also had a ton of other people tagging me and showing me the buttons that they got, and I'm like, awesome, man, they got the purple buttons. That's so cool. Yeah, I don't know. I wish there was people that could make them other than her, cause like, or him, I don't know. It's they just make good buttons, man. Like they got the best buttons out there. They've got some type of trade secret with these. I don't know. They're really really top tier, and I have yet to find a single person make Ally or Ally X buttons besides them. Besides like 3D printed stuff like these. Like I 3D printed these, but they look like crap. Like I used just Bamboo Labs A1 Mini. I probably could have done a better job if I had a resin printer, but yeah, I don't know. They're okay. You know, they're buttons at the end of the day. I wish I had the other ones, but I only had those for the Ally X, which, oddly enough, I'm sitting here trying to rack my head around where my Ally X is. Maybe it's in the case. Actually, is it in the case? Yes. It's in the case. Here we go. Ally X. Yeah, speaking of 3D printers, I'm really wanting to make some 3D printer content, and I'm going to hopefully be showing off some new printers. I'm really trying to work with a brand right now, and I haven't heard back from them in a few weeks. I've been sending a few follow-up emails and just haven't gotten anything back. They offered to send me a printer. I don't want to say who just yet, but there was a brand that reached out to me first, and they were like, hey, do you want to review this new printer? And I was like, yeah, actually, like that's one that's been on my radar for a lot of my viewers and even myself. Like, I think it'd be perfect to review it. And then they just never responded. I was like, oh, that's weird. You know, like I never have that happen. Generally, when a sponsor reaches out, and I agree to it, they're like, oh yeah, let's get on it, because I don't charge fees. I don't take payment. So if they want to send a product for me to review, I just review it. A lot of people on YouTube, they want to get paid. So like if I was to review, or if they were to review a printer, they would be like, oh yeah, I charge like a $250 filming fee, and they want the money. You know what I mean? Like they'll make the review still, but they want to make sure that they get paid. And for me, I don't care. Like it's something that I don't really like aim to ever do. If somebody offers it, maybe I'll cross that bridge when it happens, but generally when people ask me what my fee is, I say nothing. You just send the product, I review it. If I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. You know, like I don't like to have scripts. I don't like to be confined to, you know, making it feel like a huge sales pitch. If I like it, I get enthusiastic about it, and I'm gonna promote it, and I'm gonna tell people I like it, and I stand behind it. But if it's something that I don't like, you know, people are gonna hear the caveats. People are gonna hear that I don't particularly care for it. I've always been that way with a lot of stuff. But generally, before I take a product also, I look it up. I look it up on Reddit. I look it up on the Amazon reviews, which you have to take with a grain of salt because some Amazon reviews are paid. And then I watch YouTube videos on it. So if it's a product that I think that I won't like with my super high standards, I'll tell them no, because I've gotten to a point now where I get so many, I got thermal paste on my hands. Where'd that come from? I get so many emails every day from people wanting me to review stuff that I turn down like 90% of everything that comes my way. A lot of people are trying to pay me for stuff, just outright telling me how much they'll pay me. They're like, oh, I'll pay you X amount of dollars to promote my key selling website, or I'll pay you X amount of dollars to promote my new AI grift. And I'm just like, nah, like, I don't care. It's like, money's great. You know, I need money. Money pays the bills. Like, I'm not like rich at all. Like, quite the opposite. You know, I'm faking it till I make it kind of thing here, man. But I would rather make money off of my honesty, make money off of just being who I am and genuine and showing mods and showing cool stuff. And if people watch my videos, cool. You know, I make a few bucks off the ad revenue. Cool. I make a few dollars off of affiliate sales. Cool. You know, at the end of the day, is it paying the bills? No. But am I having fun? Yes. And do I still have my integrity and I still have my soul? Yes. The important things I have, my needs are met. You know, I'm good. Like that's all that matters to me, is that like I can be myself and I have my freedom to you know, express what I want to express, and I don't have to sell my soul for $1. And that's been, you know, one of the reasons I started YouTube, is I wanted to make sure that people had honest reviews, people had fun, entertaining videos, and they had people they could relate to. Because a lot of the people that I look up to, like Gamers Nexus, for example, like he's, you know, not going to throw you a line of crap. Like he's not going to just tell you something's good because it was sent over. He's going to tell you it was sent over. You know, he's ethically telling you, hey, this person sent this over, but I don't like it. You know, that's the thing about it, is you can be honest and you can still review stuff. A lot of people that, you know, are in this same circle, I'm not going to name names, but you know who they are. They're not honest. You know, everything is the best. Nothing can just like be perfect, right? There's nothing that's just perfect out there. There's things that can get real close to perfection, but if every single product you review is the best, then are we just infinitely scaling how products are getting better every day? The last 29 handhelds that you reviewed in the past month are just each one overstepped itself. Like, did just infinitely just keep scaling? It's the best. This is the best. This is the best. How? It's impossible. These guys are shoving turds in your pockets. Exactly. If everything's the best, nothing is. It's so true. It's so true. You know, like you really can't say something's the best every single day, every single week. There's been a lot of things that I've said are the best, but it's not like I'm reviewing 10 handhelds back to back saying this is the best, this is the best. The handheld reviews that I review are far stretched apart. Like I review only the ones that I'm like, ooh, this is actually really nice. I think I would really, really enjoy playing this for a long period of time, or I really like the screen or whatever. There's several handheld reviews, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I have right now that I could show, but I'm not. Like I've had devices sent over that I was going to review. I filmed the entire process, and there's a reason they're not on YouTube. Because if I put those videos out, the amount of hate that I would get from not even the brands, it's the reviewers who are threatened by the simple fact that I'm not a bought and paid for shill. You know, I don't care if I piss off a brand, because if what I have to say pisses off a brand enough to where they don't want to work with me anymore, then I don't want to work with them. Like I'm very honest about the things I like and I don't like, and I don't do them in an offensive way. But if a product has a really bad piece of software, or there's inherent issues that people are sweeping under the rug, I find that a disgrace. And I think that it's doing the reviewers, not the reviewers, I think it's doing the consumers a disservice. Because me as a consumer who buys things, you know, I watch videos, I watch them with a grain of salt, because I know that most people aren't honest in reviews. So I can read through the BS. Like I can filter through those carefully selected words. Like I'm not gonna say who, but you already know. Like you just know. You know who I'm talking about when I say this. Oh, this D-pad, for example, like the D-pad on, I think it was the original claw, the MSI claw. They were like, oh yeah, you know, this handheld feels so great in the hands. And yeah, the D-pad, yeah, it's serviceable. Very serviceable D-pad. When he said serviceable, I busted out laughing, because what What even is that? Serviceable. You can't work on it. You can't service it. So what does he mean by serviceable? He's not saying it's good. He's definitely not saying it's bad. It's serviceable. What is... I don't get it. Like, I know what he's meaning behind it, but it's not... He's not being honest. He's not giving real opinions. He's giving words that are describing it's usable. Like, you can use it. It's serviceable. He's not telling you it feels good. It feels bad. You'll never hear bad, terrible, jank, sketchy. You won't hear these negative words with most of these reviewers. They'll carefully craft it to sound positive, and then if there are negatives or caveats, they'll speed race over that thing so fast. But yeah, that's it. Boosty, they are afraid they will not get free products anymore, which in my experience, you can be honest, you can put a bad review out for a product and the brand is still going to send you stuff, but they're just too... I don't know. I don't want to say anything further, but they don't trust the process. If you, as a creator, really want the experience to be better for the consumers and for the products to actually be better, you need to be honest with the brands, because the brands look to us to tell them if something is good or bad. Because what happens when the consumers buy the product and they have the problem with it, and then they go to Reddit, guess what happens? Take a wild guess what happens. The consumer that goes to Reddit or the consumer that goes to Discord with the issue, it's now a skill issue because X and Y said theirs was perfect. So people prop up the reviewers to discredit the people who are having the issues so they can continually sweep them under the rug and minimize their feelings and experiences. Meanwhile, the brands, when they get messages or RMA request of an issue, they're like, oh, that's a skill issue. So-and-so didn't have this problem with it. So maybe you should just wipe Windows and reset it and try again. And yeah, just, it's not a solution to just tell someone to go away and try something else and, you know, sweep it under the rug. If someone has a genuine concern, it needs to be addressed. There needs to be a clear solution for it, or someone to be able to help them with that solution. And that's part of the thing. Like with a lot of the products, like the Ally, the Flow Z13, you know, the Legion Go, any of the products that I've had in my hands, I love to help people with them. I go on Discord, I go on Reddit, I go on different avenues, and I look for people with questions. And if it's something that I can help them with, especially if I could just take a quick video, upload it, show them, hey, here's what I did. And I'm not even uploading a lot of these to YouTube. I'm just DMing them, or I'm adding it in the Discord thread or adding it on the Reddit page. I'll say, hey, here's how I fixed this issue right here. And that is so satisfying to me. And most people get a lot of like help from those, because some people are visual learners. Like I'm a visual learner, so if someone can show me how to do something, immediately I get it. But if I have to read it and try to interpret any misinterpretations or find out if they left out any of the steps, like it's a lot of back and forth that happens, and you won't always get a perfect outcome, and it might leave a bad taste in someone's mouth who is a new owner of that device. So if I tell someone, oh, it's easy, bro, just go do this. Yeah, it's easy to me. It's probably easy to you too. But if you're a new owner to that product and I tell you it's easy, bro, and then I just give you a simple, like, you know, brush off instruction and it doesn't click to you, that's going to leave a bad taste in your mouth. That's going to hurt the brand's reputation, and it's going to really just not be good for the long-term, you know, user experience. So I like to make sure that I can take time out of my day every day. Literally, there's not a day that has gone by since I've started YouTube where I didn't immediately wake up, jump in my comments, start answering questions, start answering people, replying, fixing issues if someone has it in the Discord. Because like I said, there's nothing that's perfect in life, and I'll be the first one to tell you, you've seen tons of my videos where I'm fixing an issue or I'm showing you a workaround, how to update stuff, how to do this, how to tune this, how to tune that. And yeah, The other people don't do that. They don't even read their comments. They don't even care. They don't care about consumers. They don't care about the viewers. They care about the money, and that's it. They huff their own farts. That's really it. I hate that, because a lot of these people weren't like that. A lot of these people weren't like that forever. They kind of like fell into this trap of you know, focusing on brands more than the consumers, and they've lost sight of what it actually means to shop for a device or be on a budget, or, you know, have like specific needs. Because it's easy to say that this is great and you love this and you love that, because it doesn't have to serve every purpose for you. If you have 10, 15, 20 handhelds and you buy a new one or you get a new one, if it doesn't do one thing, you know, as well as the other ones do, maybe it's not a big deal to you. But if you're the kind of person who doesn't have a handheld or a laptop or desktop, and you're looking for the product to do everything that you want it to, you would be a lot more likely to be upset that it doesn't do the thing that you wanted it to do that might not be important to them. So I like to address everyone's concerns when it comes to, you know, caveats and working around, like, okay, it doesn't do this thing, you might not like this, but I can justify it because I have this thing also that doesn't make it as big of a deal to me. For example, a lot of people with the Ally X, they want a bigger screen. Well, yeah, I want a bigger screen also. That would be great. But I have a portable monitor. I can hook it up to a portable monitor. I can hook it up to the TV. I've got a solution for it. Or I've got other devices. You know, that's the one thing you can't like work around. But if the D-pad, for example, was terrible and it wasn't enjoyable, then I would have to come up with something like, okay, well, it's got a bad D-pad, but you can mod it. You know what I mean? Like the Ally and the Ally X D-pads, you know, they're not perfect. I've never said they were perfect. That's why I modded them. I made them perfect. You know, like that's perfect to me now. The joysticks, the buttons, those are all great. You don't have to mod those. You don't have to mod the D-pad. But if you want to make it like that much better, you know, that would be a mod to do. And that's one thing that a lot of people also kind of like miss, is the modding, you know, whole craze with handhelds. When I first got into YouTube, people shitted on me left and right for modding handhelds. It was pretty much not nearly as common as it is now. I mean, I don't want to say I started the Ally modding craze, but I was definitely the probably first person on YouTube to really be modding these things and coming up with different things. And you know, you guys know where I've been featured at. You know the journey with my channel. You know, my mods have been featured on Gamers Nexus before. Like that was like a huge milestone for me that it wasn't even on my radar of crossing, but being featured on Gamers Nexus was wild, bro. But when you are passionate about a product and you enjoy modding it, you shouldn't have to face hate from people. You shouldn't have to face backlash from people. Modding is just like modding a car. You're making the product personal to you. You're investing your time and your like personality into the device. And I am so happy that we have handhelds that we can mod, and I'm glad that we have a modding community now that is better than ever. It's strong, it's very tight knit, and everybody works together to create cool mods. Like I'm in so many different modding discords now, and it's cool, you know. Like if we didn't have that, I don't think there would be near as much of a passion for some of these handhelds, man. Like honestly, I think modding made the Steam Deck what it is. I think modding made the Ally what it is. I think modding made the PSP what it was. Like if you look at all the best and most successful handhelds out there, modding, like that was a big thing. Is modding was just so big. Do a mod for adaptive triggers and handheld. Yo, that would be dope. I actually won wonder if that's like possible. I actually, yeah, it might be possible. You would have to really get creative though, but it would be possible. Train that people are giving you crap modding handhelds early on. PCs enthusiasts love modding. Never gonna get it go again. So the go-to, yeah, I want that thing so bad. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to buy one or not, but like, if I could get a Legion Go 2, I would be pretty stoked. I think really the main thing I'm waiting on this year is the Xbox Ally X. That thing's going to be pretty insane with the grip, and then the Windows Xbox OS essentially is going to strip out a lot of the BS, so you're going to have a much faster OS, and you're going to free up as early on as it is now. I'm already hearing it's going to free up at least 2 gigs of RAM, which is pretty impressive, because that's honestly more than what an average Windows debloat will do. So if you're able to get 2 gigs of RAM off the top of a clean install, that would be like you going from a 16 gig to an 18 gig. You know, like you would have an extra 2 gigs in there for VRAM essentially. And that is like just like enough to where it will make a difference. Because for me, when I'm playing a lot of my games like Black Ops and Forza, I mean, I'm kind of like autistic when it comes to the game choices. I stick to the games I like and I'm good at. But yeah, those 2 games have, so like Forza, for example, it uses a lot of RAM and VRAM, but with Black Ops, it just uses a lot of RAM. Now, you can get it to use a lot of VRAM if you're using the wrong settings, but no matter what, you're going to be pegging all your RAM on an Ally, all of it. It's going to be at 99% usage for the most part. So if you had 2 extra gigs of RAM in there, you would get to that 90% possibly, or even below 90%. So you would have that little bit of extra buffer room if you wanted to open Spotify or you wanted to open up another app like Discord, you'd have it. But yeah, Alex, to answer your question, Legion Go 2, definitely want it. I can't wait to see it. Boosty, the Z2E chips, man, they're going to be really, really good. Like, preliminary guesses for right now, I mean, who's to say like I'm going to be right or wrong on this, because I don't have any firsthand information, and even if I did, I would be able to talk about it. But I would be willing to say that it'll be a much bigger jump than you guys are thinking. Like, it's probably going to be a really nice solid jump. That's all I can say, is like I think it's going to be a really nice solid jump. It'll probably be definitely more on people's radars than it was for jumping from the Ally to the Ally X. So everybody loves the Ally X, don't get me wrong, but when we looked at the differences between those 2, it was pretty minimal. Yeah, you got more RAM. Yeah, you got a 2280. Yeah, you got a lot of extra battery capacity and all that good stuff, but you're going to basically be stacking all of that on top of this. So you're getting performance, battery life, you're getting everything. And it's going to be kind of like that whole package that's going to summarize itself into perfection. Now, I would love to say that the Legion Go 2 is going to also do that, but with a bigger screen. But I don't know what the price is going to be. I don't know if it's going to be just out of everyone's reach because of the price. I don't know. I've heard people saying that the price is going to be pretty crazy on the Legion Go 2, but I don't know. Pricing on everything is crazy these days. Performance wise, it's going to be pretty good. It's going to be pretty good. I'm just taking a best guess at it, just knowing what I know. I think honestly it's going to be the upgrade people have been waiting for. You know, if you were holding out for an upgrade and you were on an Ally OG or you're on a Steam Deck, this would be like that upgrade. The Z2E will just be like, it'll be that chip. To mod the back plate. To mod the back of an Ally to include 4 buttons rather than 2. Okay. So, just get my LX now. Yeah, man. I'm sorry, Boosty. But hey, Boosty, here's the thing, man. The coolest thing about this whole thing for me, and I mean, like, this is genuinely like, it's going to be a big deal. The OS is going to be compatible after it launches. It's going to be compatible. So if you have an Ally OG or an Ally X, you're going to be able to put the new Xbox OS on your current system, and you're going to be able to take advantage of those performance increases with less system resources being drained, and you're going to get more efficiency, and you're going to get probably a little bit better battery life too. That's going to be a big thing. It's going to breathe new life into these handhelds currently. So even though you miss out on a little bit of performance going from the Z1E to the Z2E, it's not all bad. It's still going to give you a lot more life out of what you have now. So it's not going to be as, like, bad of a, letdown, or big of a letdown. But Alex, here's the thing with the Ally X. So let me see if I can remove my back plate. All right. So here's the thing with the back paddle buttons. Right here, there's a controller board for it, and there's only a certain amount of pins in here for the ribbon cable. And it's working off this button here. And it transfers over to here. And then you've got this cable that connects to over here. So that's the thing about it. Oh, there it is. It connects to over here. So that's the thing about it. You would probably not be able to do that realistically, just because you would have to redesign the PCB, and you would probably have to have another set of cables running for the second button. I don't really know. I just know that it would have to have a completely new PCB, because I don't think there's any other pinouts for this, and you would have to write the software for it as well to be able to recognize those extra inputs. So I don't think it's possible. I'm not going to say it's impossible, but I just don't think it's possible. Now, if it is possible, I would say that Extreme Rate would be the people to do it. I could talk to my rep, and I could forward it to him and ask them if they would be willing to do that. But I'll go ahead and tell you, I've asked them previously for Ally X mods, and I've been working very closely with trying to make that happen. And I just don't think we're close enough yet. I think because of the amount of different things that they're trying to do in the market with all different types of products, I don't think the Ally X is as high on their radar as what I would like to see. But maybe if enough people ask them about it and say, hey, we want some Ally X mods, we want those clicky buttons. That's what I've been begging them for, because these buttons have a lot of slop. There's a lot of play. The custom buttons help out, lubing them helps out, but I would really like to see some clicky buttons, and I would like to see some adjustable triggers. Maybe we'll see it one day, I don't know. Who knows? Xbox OS, but I love Linux, games not working on it. Yeah, man, Alex, I agree, man. That's the problem, is I can't switch to Linux because I play Black Ops and I play Game Pass games. I get most of my games from Game Pass, and I cannot play those through Cloud Play. It doesn't work for me. I'm terrible with the latency. Even though I have really good internet, I can't deal with latency, and so cloud streaming is just not for me. It's really nice to have, but if you play first-person shooters, it's not fun. Like, it's nice to have for racing games. It's nice to have for a lot of other games. It's cool that you can do that on the Steam OS, but for me, I want to install them natively. Yeah, the back buttons for controllers. You gotta do the back plate saves. Clicky D-pad, face buttons for the Ally X. Yeah, man. I mean, we need it for the Ally X. We need that mod to happen. So I'm not gonna lie, I've tried it. I actually have put, nobody else knows this, but you guys, you're the first people I've probably told about it, but I did a clicky mod for this. It did not turn out great, okay? I'm not gonna lie. 3 out of 4 buttons worked. I could have tinkered with it longer, but overall, you had to apply a lot more pressure onto each button, and it defeated the purpose of the clicky buttons. I know I've seen someone else do it, but they did not mention how it was done or what switches they used or anything. It was off of, I believe it was a Billy post, but I did see someone had done it. But yeah, they used micro switches. A lot of soldering was involved, and it definitely did not look clean, but it worked. I saw the video, it worked. But the mod that I did not, and that's why I never brought it to light. I don't want to bring sketchy mods. I want to bring mods that are repeatable. So if it's repeatable and it works, and I can tell you it's going to work, I'll bring it. But until then, it went back to the drawing board. And as far as the D-pad goes, honestly, the D-pad feels really good. Like, I really like it. Like, I don't have any problem with it. It could be a little bit more tactile, but we'll cross that bridge when it happens. So yeah, clicky mods are dope, but don't blame the extreme rate for not doing anything yet. The handhelds release too fast. Wonder if they're holding off to release. Maybe, Alex, you know, maybe. I would say that they probably want to make sure that enough people would also buy it too. So if the demand isn't there, then it wouldn't be smart to do it. So if there's not enough people asking for something, then the amount of money that you would spend on R&D, the amount of money that you would spend on the tooling, it would outweigh at first the cost of getting it done, or the amount that you would make off of selling the initial couple batches. But if you did like a pre-order to judge how many people would want something like that and say, hey, you know, this is like a GoFundMe, or not a GoFundMe, but it's like a Kickstarter campaign. If you want it, sign up for it. I would promote the heck out of it because it's something that I know you guys want and I want it as well. But we could do a Kickstarter for something like that, and then they would see how many people want it. You know what I mean? Like they would see it immediately, because I would go to Reddit, I would go to all different forums, I would go to all the Discords, and I would just tell people, hey, if you want it, now is your time to speak up. We have a chance, but we gotta all act so they can see it. But if you want something done, if you want to have a mod done for the Ally X or the Ally, go in their Discord or at them on Twitter, or email them and say, hey, CPPC Tech does Ally X modding. I'd really like to see him do a mod for the Ally X for the D-pad or the ABXY buttons. Can you make a clicky kit? I would buy one. That way enough people, you know, ask them about it. Maybe they could make it happen. I just think that that's what it is. I think there's just not enough people. But that's the thing. If you don't know something exists, then you don't know that you want it. So if you tell them, you know, hey, maybe we can drum up enough pre-interest to get them serious enough about it to where, you know, we could get a better idea of how many people would want it. Just because enough people aren't asking about it yet doesn't mean that there's not enough people that would buy it. Because I honestly think that if you pop those mods on YouTube and Reddit right now, oh, they would go hard. They would go so hard. They would sell probably more of those than they sell for the Steam Deck. Honestly, there's a lot of Steam Decks out there. Like, I think that's why they've got that going for them, is there's a lot of Steam Deck owners who wanted that clicky kit. But I frequent the Steam Deck subreddits and I see how many people do it and how many people don't do it, and it's an impressive amount. But yeah, I think honestly enough people would buy the Ally X to outweigh it. But yeah, it's for real that YouTube just gave me ads video while streaming? Oh, I'm sorry, bro. Ad hate. I have YouTube Premium. I know, like, ad blocks and all that stuff are kind of like, I don't know. Like, I tried to do ad block one time before, and it just didn't work for me. They weren't blocking ads, so I was like, screw it. I paid for premium, and ever since I haven't looked back. I got premium, so yeah, it gets rid of the ads. I don't have to worry about getting, you know, issues. Same, yeah, Boosty, same. I watch YouTube all day, so I watch it on my phone, I watch it on my tablet, I watch it on everything, so I can't not have premium. And I had the family plan. Like, that's another thing that a lot of people don't talk about is you can get the family plan and just split it with all your friends. They can each have their own account. Like, you can add people to it, so you pay like 25 bucks a month. You could have like up to 5 people. So split it 5 ways between 5 different people, and that's like $5 a month or something. Like, come on, that's pretty cheap. That's the way to do it if you're gonna do it, is get the family plan and just split it. Just max out the accounts that you can have. Each person keeps their same email and everything. You just add them on your friends list and it gives them YouTube Premium, basically. You don't have to have their password, you don't have to have anything. You just get their email and you can add them. Steam Deck more popular, which is weird because Ally is more obtainable since it's available stored. Yeah, and see, Alex, that's another thing, is that Ally is like, you know, it's now, I think, more popular than the Steam Deck, but when the Steam Deck came out, it was, you know, that was it. That was what you wanted. That was the main handheld that everybody wanted. It's Steam, it's Valve, it's good quality. The software is refined, everything just works. But now the Ally is so dominative, like that's what everybody wants, you know? Like everybody wants the Ally. It's like a household name now. So the Legion Go software, when it first came out, it was not bad, but the updates were really far and few between. And they've gotten a lot better with that. But the one cool thing about the Legion Go is it's very refined. It's not like some of these, what do you call it, boutique handheld brands, if you catch my drift. Some of the I'm just gonna say it, 1X Player, INEO, AOK Zoe. Dude, those softwares are dog crap. Like, that is just dog water. If you get offended, fine. I'm sorry, I apologize, but their software is dog water. Windows even recognizes that as spyware sometimes. And I had, like, I've got a really I won't say like what I use for security at home, but I've got a really beefy security system for my network. And with all INEO and 1X Player devices, it flags my network immediately when one of those devices comes online on my network. Immediately, it's an intrusive alert. It's malware installed on the device. So I don't know. I know it's just unsigned code, or it's not verified by Microsoft or whatever, but I don't know. I don't know if the program is secure, unsecure. I don't know if maybe there's ports open that they use to do updates. Maybe these are unsecured ports. I don't know. I'm not gonna speculate on it, but I've never had that alert with any other brand, you know? I don't know. I don't have that issue with the Ally. I don't have that issue with the Legion Go. I don't have that issue with MSI. I don't have any of those issues with the more mainstream brands. Form factor on the INEO slide was awesome. Old slide phone. Yeah, I like those slides. Those are cool. Let's see. You had to return it. The screen didn't work. Felt like the handheld was meaning. Yeah. Legion Go. I don't think the Legion Go software is as bad as Aya or other Chinese handhelds, but it's by far the worst between SteamOS and Ally software. Yeah. So honestly, the Legion Go software, it's good, but I think the main problem that most people have is like the GPU drivers is like the release cycle is kind of slow. You don't always get the release cycle as fast as like the Ally does or any of the other ones. But I do think that Legion Go will allow you to install the drivers from AMD directly, and you don't have to sideload them. So like with the Ally X, you normally have to sideload them, which is, it's not, or even the Ally,
it's not hard to sideload the drivers. Like, it's easy. It takes you like 2 minutes to do it. But for a normie, you know, it's not as easy. But yeah, you can watch a YouTube video and figure it out in like 3 seconds. But I personally run the OEM drivers. I run everything that the Ally X comes with. It just works for me. I don't have issues. I like running what's meant to be ran on a device. For one, if you're playing online games and you're running a side-loaded driver, that can actually trigger the anti-cheat. So I don't want to run that risk since I play a lot of online games. I don't want to actually get banned again, because I've been banned before on Call of Duty, for example, by side-loading a driver. Let's see, I don't think yeah, man, Legico screen, it's pretty nice. Pretty nice, not gonna lie. I do like having a bigger screen. One of the things though with screen size is, like, I know everybody wanted the Ally X or the Xbox Ally X to have a bigger screen, but they would have had to have redesigned like a ton of stuff. Like, they would have had to redesign the entire chassis, the screen itself. They would have had to get a custom screen, which would have increased the cost significantly. Because I know screens like there's nobody's business when it comes to handhelds, and I've looked up every handheld screen that exists out there, and looking at what can fit inside the Ally or the Ally X that has the same connector and all this, there's like 1 or 2 options out there, and none of them are bigger than 7-inch. I can tell you that will fit in here. Just like I was thinking about doing the OLED mod, I'm still trying to figure it out. I don't think it's possible, and I'll tell you why. The screen connector for the only OLED that exists, that's a 7-inch, 144 hertz. I don't think it has VRR either. Some say it do, some say it don't. I don't think it has it, but that screen has a totally different connector, and it's not going to work in here. But I might be able to make it work with a conversion cable or something like that. You know, it's possible, but I don't think it's easy. Once they get OLED VRR figured out, we do the next upgrade. Yeah, you know, like, honestly, I think a lot of people are going to be perfectly fine with holding out until there's an OLED option. I totally stand behind that, because as much as I love OLED, like, I don't have a problem with LCD. Like, I don't know, OLED is nice. It's great to have, but does use a little bit more energy. And, you know, currently you can't get the VRR, which some people say it's not a big deal with VRR on an OLED, because OLEDs have such a fast refresh rate, or pixel refresh rate. Like, each individual pixel can like black itself out. Like, it's just the time and the latency and the delay is much less on an OLED, and it's quicker to respond anyways. So you're not going to notice the issues with VRR being gone on an OLED versus an LCD without VRR. Is very noticeable. It's very, very noticeable, because the screen itself, the pixel response time, is a lot slower on an LCD than some of these OLEDs. Smoothness, legion space down. Do you guys lossless scaling software? Yeah, I did experiment with lossless scaling a pretty good bit, actually. I downloaded it when it first came out. It was not bad, but I did not use it just because it did not benefit me in the games that I played. But then a few months ago, I tried it again, and I tried it on several other games, and it did work a lot better. And the input lag and the extra latency that it adds is so minimal now. Like, even if it adds like a half a millisecond, you're not going to notice it. But before, it would add like a whole millisecond, or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 milliseconds. It was a pretty big delay for certain games. And then there's so many different options for what type of rendering it does. Like, there's so many different drop downs and options in there. It's pretty complex and a little bit over my head, but I will say it's worth it if you play a lot of games where you're not getting the full 60 FPS, but maybe you're getting above 40. You know, maybe you're getting like 45 FPS or 42 FPS, and you want to get 60 or you want to get 80. You want to just get it to that like constant 60. It's going to give you that extra boost you're needing. But if you're getting only like 20 FPS or something, don't waste your time on it. If you're getting like really low FPS, you're not going to be happy with it because it's not ideal unless you're getting at least 40 in each situation. Use it later for Switch 1 games for what's going. Possibly Boosty. I would try that out. I wouldn't know much about that. I have not tried any of that. Lossless is a very fair investment. Yeah, it's only a couple bucks, and then the cool thing about it is Steam. If you buy something on Steam and it sucks, you can get a refund on it. You can get your money back. So I like buying games on Steam that I don't know if I'm gonna like. Most of the time I get my games for free on Game Pass, or I'll wait until it's free on Epic, or Amazon Prime has a lot of free games and stuff. If you go right now and you have an Amazon Prime account, a lot of people don't know this, but go to Google and type in Amazon Prime Gaming. Log in. There's a long list of free games that you can claim. And if you have a GOG account, a lot of them will open up in the GOG account and save it to your game library. So you can get like a long list of free games from GOG, Epic Game Store, and a bunch of other ones, all linked through the Amazon Prime. When I first heard about it, I was like, man, I don't want to play the Amazon Luna crap, because that's what the Amazon gaming thing is. They've got their Luna thing or whatever it is. No, they've actually got stuff through a bunch of other game services, and it's completely free, and it just saves it to your account. And then like every Thursday, also check Epic Game Store. They give you 1 to 2 free games every Thursday. There's so many different ways to get free games that I just don't even pay for anything. I buy like 1 game every 6 months. Yeah, Boosty, give it a shot, man. I promise you, man, there's some cool stuff on there. I've gotten some really nice games recently from there. I'd pull it up, but I'm too tired to mess with it right now. But man, there's some solid offerings in there, completely free, no catch. Does anyone have to play Switch 1 games on Switch 2? What's the difference between Switch 1 and Switch 2 game version on the same game? Honestly, I have no idea. I do know that if you have a Switch 1 game and you put it in a Switch 2, it's going to play, and I think they give you a free download to the enhanced version. I think that's how that works. I would not know. I know that with Switch games, they are so expensive that I would hope they would give you the free upgrade right now to it. So I would try, if you have a Switch 2, pop in a Switch 1 game. I do know that if you have the, what do you call it? The Switch device where it's got the button on it where you can back up your games. Oh, what's that thing called? A bunch of people are getting banned for it anyway, so don't try it. MIG switch. Yeah, MIG switch. Ugh. I was seeing a lot of people on YouTube report back that they put the MIG switch in their device and they immediately got banned. And I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. Because like on the Switch 1, it's not illegal to back up your own games, at least as far as I know. I've never heard of anyone being in trouble for backing up their own games. But if you download games, yeah, it's illegal. You should never do that. But people were using the MIG switch for legitimate purposes. You know, they were taking 10 games and putting them on a memory card on the MIG switch, and you could take it on an airplane. Because like imagine, let's say you're going to travel with your friends or your kids or whatever. You don't want to take 10 games with you, but maybe you would play 10 games if you did, maybe 5 or whatever. So if you're gonna, oh, good night, man. Hope you have a good one, Alex. So if you're gonna take your Switch with you, and you can have all your games on a memory card, just like an Ally, just like a Steam Deck. You don't have to carry around 10 physical games. Imagine if you had to carry around 10 physical games, you'd be pretty bummed. Like, that's a lot of, responsibility. You could lose one, you could drop one. So the point is, using the MIG switch to back up your games is no different than you backing up your games to a memory card on your own system or backing it up to a USB hard drive. You own that game. That's your game. You should be able to put that on another storage device. But the way that Nintendo is viewing it is it's a piracy issue now, or it's illegal, and they're banning people's Switches who've only backed up their own games to their device that they own. So I find that like really anti-consumer. I will not buy a Switch 2, just simply for that reason alone, because they've been so anti-consumer. If they were more pro-consumer and protected game preservation and protected your rights as a consumer to back your games up, I would gladly buy it. But I have a Switch 1. I don't have a MIG switch. I have like 2 games anyways, so I don't really have much skin in the game. But if I did have a lot of Switch games like I used to have a good bit of Switch games, because before I had a Steam Deck, before I had an Ally, Switch was, that was the thing, man. Everybody wanted was a Switch. I played all the Pokemon games. I played all the Mario games. I had them all. And I sold them all because I don't play them anymore. I literally just have Mario Maker and something else. I don't even remember what it was. Not even a good game. But I have a Switch 1 and I don't even play it. But if I had a Switch 2, that would be what I would want to do, is to back up all my games and carry around my device like I carry around my Ally or my Ally X or my Steam Deck. Like, that's what I'm used to. I don't want to go back in time where I have to carry 10 games with me plus my device. That's just counterintuitive. It's pretty wild, man. Nintendo, step your game up, man. You're losing out on customers. You're losing out. And then, I don't know if you guys saw it, but the screen, did you see the whole screen debacle? The Switch screen is not as good as people had initially reported. Everybody on YouTube was like, oh, it's such a great screen. Oh, it's the best. And then when people started actually testing the screen, they noticed it's slower. It's got more input delay, more latency. It's not true HDR. Once again, things that I immediately think people should have pointed out and not been so positive and hunky-dory and it's the best. They should have been blowing the whistle on this way before it even got to this point. Because if you report things early enough in the pipeline, they can fix it with software sometimes. They can maybe make a revision. Maybe it was a hardware issue. They need to know if there's an issue or if something's not as good as like the last model was, for example, with the screen. That's something that I think people may not have honestly picked up on. That's fine. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it just took some trained eyes to really see that. But if enough people have already seen it, then I think enough people would have been able to see it before. I don't think it just all of a sudden magically appeared. I think it's been there all along, and the bigger names in the community were just too hesitant to talk about it for some odd reason. I know Nintendo is a scary beast that I probably wouldn't want to battle either, which is why I don't do Nintendo content really as well. I don't do emulation content. I don't want to go down that road. I've had too many of my friends lose their channels to emulation, Fallout, and it's not something that's safe to really do anymore. And I wonder how long a lot of these channels that are doing it are going to be around, because they get copyright strikes all the time. Like when you see some of these channels that are doing these emulation guides and stuff, they're like, oh, this is how you install Yuzu. This is how you download games from Pirate Bay. This is how you do this. They get channel strikes all the time, and then they won't be able to upload for weeks or months at a time. And then it's just like, it's over for them after 3 or 4 of them back to back. So they're running the risk and then they get demonetized a lot of times, so their videos won't even make money, and you're not advertiser friendly, and they have all these issues where it becomes just not worth it. So I've seen a lot of channels that were really good channels, that were amazing channels, just get hit one after another, and then they don't ever come back. So yeah. And did you hear about the streamer who was, oh excuse me, the streamer they busted and they sued? So with Nintendo games, there's like a watermark. There's like this really, really secret watermark that people have been talking about. I've never seen it, but I trust the people who have reported on it. So if you're playing your handheld right here and you have it hooked up to like a dock and you're going to your TV or you're going to your capture card or whatever, there's like a watermark in there. It's very, very like hard to pick up on. You'll probably never see it, but Nintendo can see it if they use like an overlay. They can scan different streams for it. They can see if it's there or not. And apparently when you emulate these games, it's not there, or it changes. It does something where there's like some type of pixel even. Who knows? It could be one tiny little pixel that's just shifted off. But they're able to tell. That's how they were able to bust this streamer who was playing these games on an emulator, allegedly, apparently. So people are bold enough to stream pirated Nintendo games with the power of AI upon us. I think it's a ticking time bomb. I think a lot of people who have VODs up of them playing emulators, or people who have made tutorials in the past and they show a Nintendo game, they're gonna face some consequences from it. And I've already seen it. Like I've seen copyright strikes on a friend of mine's channel. He had a lot of old videos that he had done from like a year ago, for example, and he was showing I want to say it was either Wii or Wii U content. Like it was nothing like new. It was old, like from years ago. He got several takedown requests because he showed gameplay footage for a Nintendo game, and it was illegally backed up, not illegally. It was legally. Like he owned the actual disc, right? And he even showed in one of the videos putting the disc in the Wii, backing it up, and then playing it, and he got the takedown request for those videos. In what world does that make sense? I don't know, but I think it's crazy, man. I think if it's your content, it's your device, you should be able to do whatever you want with it, whether it's backing it up or whatever, you know. Yeah, they're pretty wild, man. I don't know. I think Microsoft is long gaming. I think Microsoft is long gaming this whole thing, man. Honestly, I know everybody loves Steam and everybody loves Bazite, but if you think about it, man, Xbox, they're really about to have the whole market cornered with that Xbox OS. I think a lot of people are going to come back from Bazite and they're going to be installing the Xbox OS on their handhelds, because I know a lot of people are running Bazite right now, and it's only because they didn't like the Windows bloat. So I think you're going to win a lot of people back over, and they're going to work with Steam. They're going to work with everything. So like no matter what game store you like to use, you'll be able to take advantage of that. So it's going to be pretty cool. The Zotac gaming handheld I've not tried, but it does look pretty cool. Have you seen the XPG handheld? Let me see if I can pull that up. Man, the XPG handheld. I hope they bring this thing to market. I really hope they bring this thing to market. The XPG Nia. Let me see if I can pull this up on screen. One second. There we go. Okay, so the XPG was one of my favorite devices that I saw at CES that year. I didn't go to CES, but I watched all the coverage. This thing right here, man, has a slide up screen, but that's not even it. That's not even the coolest thing. I hope they actually show this on the back. Oh, they don't show it. Okay. So they're saying that it has eye tracking right here. That's one of the other cool things. But it's a modular chassis. So they're saying that you would be able to replace the motherboard inside with a newer revision or a newer chipset, basically. So, oh yeah, there you go. Print your own handheld. They were going to have the 3D printable files for the chassis too. They're going to give everything open source essentially. So you'll be able to mod the living crap out of this handheld. This is like, this is the way. Like, this is the way that they really should all be. Give us the 3D files. That is insane. This was the most slept on handheld that has came out, or it hasn't came out yet, but this has been like, yeah, like a real PC. Like, literally you could upgrade this thing and keep it in rotation, and just it's dope. XPG makes really solid NVMEs. They've made a lot of solid PC hardware, so they've been in this space just like the other major players have. So like, they're not just some fly-by-night Chinese company who are giving us pipe dreams and half-finished projects. They're not going to just slap this thing out here and it be okay. They put this thing back on the drawing board, from what I've been told, because when it comes out, it's going to be like a knockout. Like, it's going to be the handheld. Like, I honestly really hope, yeah, it's to debut in 2025. Look at the price. They were initially going to do $500 to $600, which, how? Like, I don't know how could they do that, but if they did that, that would be pretty wild. There's the Zotac Zone you were talking about. I think the reason this one turned me off the most is it only had 16 gigs of RAM. Oh, by the way, I think the XPG was going to use the LP CAM memory, so it'll be upgradable memory as well. Upgradable memory on a handheld. That's what they were saying, but who knows? Any news on the release day? 2025, sometime this year, maybe. I don't know. But the Zotac Zone, though, 16 gigs of RAM, it did not interest me, but I did like that it had trackpads and it had the adjustable joysticks right here. So it was pretty cool, but I would like to see more RAM. Now this, see, yeah, it isn't upgradable like the Nia. The Nia is upgradable. That's insane, because there's no other handheld that's ever came out that had upgradable memory. You could upgrade the storage, but you can't upgrade the RAM. So that was like so exciting for me, because I would immediately max that thing out. But the Zotac did have adjustable triggers, it had adjustable joysticks. It's a pretty solid handheld. Now, if Zotac comes back with a 32 gig model, yeah, I would be very interested to try one of these out. I really would. I think it's actually pretty decent. Not a bad price either. But the Nia, we need that. We need that. XPG, if you're watching, let's get that going, man. But yeah, that's, wait for more news on the brand. Yeah, man, stay tuned. I don't know when it's gonna come out, but I would assume maybe the end of the year if it does. I think there's a game conference coming up soon anyways. Maybe they'll have some more news then, because the last time I saw anything about it was right at a year ago, so it's been a whole entire year. Who knows, man? But dude, XPG is pretty dope. Yeah, here, let me show you the back plate right here. That's the back plate right there. Little kickstand action. It's pretty nifty. Not gonna lie, it was really cool. can't spell. Trying to see if I can find a picture of the RAM itself. So this is the kit right here. It'll basically drop in. It's LP cam. It's basically like a, it looks like an NVMe almost, but it's a little bit fatter. It's a little bit wider. It's got the memory controller right here on the RAM itself. Here's your memory chips right here, and it will just slot in. You know, you'll be able to drop this on the board and upgrade the RAM. So I really hope we get to see that, because that was a very innovative thing. I really want to see if I could find a board that uses that, so you can get the idea. Xbox fans, I realize all the games I want them. Yeah, there's so many good games on both systems, but I don't know. I'm torn because I've been playing Gran Turismo a lot lately, and I really wish Gran Turismo would come to PC. I think it's crazy Forza came to PlayStation before Gran Turismo came to Xbox or PC. Like, such a wild world. But yeah, here we go. This is how it slots in right there. There's an LP Cam 2 module. It just slots in. There's a screw that goes in place here, here, and here. So 3 screws hold it on. Such a cool piece of tech right here. I love. Yeah, look at that. It's got a metal plate on it. I guess probably for cooling. Isn't that so cool? You get good latency on it too. Like it's got really good timings. It's absolutely awesome. We need to see this. We need to see this happen on all handhelds, all laptops. They should move towards this LP cam. I'm a big fan. Ugh. All right. Well, I'm probably about to head off. Thank you all for hanging out and just chit chatting and shooting the breeze with me. Tomorrow, I do have a package coming from FedEx. I do think it's the trigger kit. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what it is. I just have an alert, but based on the weight of the package, I'm like 90% certain it's gonna be the trigger kit. And if it is, like, it's on like Donkey Kong. I can't wait, because that's the most important mod for me, is the trigger kit. I need that. I need that. All right. Well, Death Nort, everyone else who was watching, Boosty, Alex, who we have up here, we had a lot of people yelling at Stocks, Rexian, Killer K. You guys, thank you all so much for chilling. All the lurkers in chat, thank you for chilling. And yeah, I'll try to do some more streams, guys. I know it's been a while since I've done any kind of lives. I'll try to do some members only streams too. So if you are a channel member, I'll probably start trying to do some more of those as well. Just getting the timing right, trying to figure out when everybody is free. If you have a specific time that's good for you, just, you know, DM me on Discord or something. If you want to play some Black Ops or something, get together for a game session or something, just let me know. I'm always down to play. I might not always have my mic on. I might just, you know, be there to game with you and, you know, mess some people up. But yeah, down. Just hit me up. My inbox is always open, guys. If you ever need anything, need advice on a build, need advice on some mods, need help with anything, I enjoy it. It's what I do. Don't ever feel like you're a bother. Just hit me up. Seriously. I'm just nobody. I'm just a regular dude, just like all y'all. I'm just out here having fun, building stuff, modding stuff. So let me help you out if you got anything you need. But yeah, Death Stranding 2, I'll check that out. Definitely. Ton of cool games coming out. Got a new Metal Gear Solid remake coming soon. Saw Silent Hill. Saw some other games. Like, man, I've got to catch up. I don't know where my phone is, but yeah, I got to catch up on some games. There's quite a few cool ones coming out, so I'll definitely check that out. All right, guys. Well, once again, thank you all, and as always, I hope you have a good afternoon, good evening, or good night.